You'll understand. You'll know exactly when we're live. Now we're live. And our main man coming back today. I'm going to have some of my friends, Jenny and Andrew, and we're going to talk about Within the Ring of Fire. We're going to talk about Matt Pritchard's game. You need to go over there and watch it. First 2 episodes are up on his channel. We're going to put the link below here at the end. You can watch it. You can just type it Within the Ring of Fire. I start going through the list of stuff. You'll find it. We're playing a game. The first game I've actually been able to be a catalyst in the game, so that's been a huge thrill for me. You can see my character. You can see my friend's characters here. And we have one other player, George, who wasn't able to join us at this time. So we're going to talk about Matt's game. We're going to talk a little bit about Within the Ring of Fire. And you want to know yourself. You never heard about Within the Ring of Fire. Deep, immersive, dark fantasy. It's a game about collaborative narrative. That's easy for me to say, isn't it? It's a game about deep, immersive role-playing. It teaches you from A to Z how to sit down, never played a game before, and be the best player at your table by the time you're done reading and understanding the ideas held within. We have the first 3 books are out now. Saga book, you can pick these up on Drive-Thru RPG in hardback and softback. Actually, this one's just in hardback. Next ones are in soft and hardback. You can see the world of Vega Fail here. It's flat. It's a cylinder. You can see the ogre on the front here. All many different species that you can play. A fully realized mythology, cosmology, theology in the Pantheon. The 77 Thrones. Pick this one up. This is hardback or softback. This is a softback copy. You can see full color artwork, amazing artists, and definitely, you can see some examples there. And we have the novel Feywild Within the Ring of Fire novel, the first novel from the line, which you can watch. My good friend Andrew here has a review up right now today. I haven't seen it yet. We'll go watch that on his channel as well. Subscribe to him and subscribe to Matt. Get in there, see what's going on, see what real role-playing is really about, and see about those tools to make your role-playing game absolutely unforgettable, having that best quantifiable experience you can, chase that perfect 10. That's what Within the Ring of Fire is all about. Monsters and Men coming out very, very soon. The long-awaited 4th book for Within the Ring of Fire, Book of True Names, is well-written and in editing right now, so that one's going to be out very soon, in a few months, I suppose. Getting more and more in the line. Here Be Dragons is being written right now. Play as dragons in a game and understand their politics, their machinations, the way they work and control the world from their own vantage points. So we're going to talk right now. So let's kind of start off with you, Andrew. Sort of tell them a little bit about, if they haven't seen the game, about what you think about Matt's game, about what you're playing, and just give them a real brief deal there, and we'll move on to Jenny with the same sort of question there.
Sure. In Matt's game, I am playing Bryce Pyralis Hycro, and don't want to give too much away about what's going on in the game. You should probably watch it yourself if you want to know what's going on. But he started off as he was a guardsman serving the house of Bram, the royal house of Bram in Bale, and he has been swept up and taken to a horrible prison that was owned by the god He Who Has Many Names, and so very exciting. It's an excellent game. If you have not seen it, hopefully our main man is going to put that link up so you can go check that out. Excellent game. Highly recommend going to go look at it. I've never played in a game so good before in my life. It is excellent.
Absolutely. Jenny, so why don't you slide ever so slightly more to camera so we can see just a little bit more than just part of your eye.
Sorry.
There you go. Tell us about your character, what you think about the game so far.
So I'm playing a Kalfar named Cern, who's a trader, and she's a worshiper of Al-Sam and is kind of stuck in this prison area with the rest of the characters, and she's maybe a little bit sneaky, a little manipulative. It's been really fun so far. This is one of the very first tabletop style games that I've played. I'm used to playing text-based, so it's a real treat to have Matt running the game. If you haven't heard Matt, his voice is incredible, and he's a really great flame tender. This is maybe only the second fantasy-based game that I've ever played. I usually play horror or like sci-fi games. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Okay, very good there. And like I say, you guys want to go out, you want to check out this game. There's also another playlist which I flame tended, which you guys can check out if you want to really get more involved, have more understanding, have a better idea. And everyone in the game really understands the cosmology, the mythos of the world. And I've been very impressed myself. It's been very awesome to watch all you guys sort of realize these concepts and sort of see these ideas that once danced only solely in my imagination spring forth to life in yours, and then by transference of your words into mine as well again. So it's really been a great thing. And that's what I like to see, people take this work that I put together and bring it forward and allow others to interact with it and seeing how they view it, how they experience it, what their feelings are on that. Why don't each of you? We'll just start with you, Andrew. We'll just go back and forth between the two of you. Why don't you tell me what drew you to playing a human in this game? That might be sort of interesting for the fans out there in YouTube land.
Well, I'll probably talk about this in another video too that I'll put up, but humans are, believe it or not, in this setting, I think humans are the best race in there. Now, that might be surprising to a lot of you because humans are usually so boring and dull. They're just, just imagine what they're like in medieval society, and that's what a human is. Nah, in this game, it is totally different. You have, I believe you have almost, not quite 77 different clans you can choose from of human, and all of them are very different, very interesting. Some of the, he divides them into different ethnic groups, and they're just very interesting. The particular one that I have chosen is Clan Hykro, and Hykro are a clan that was created by the great god Pelgan, the god of humanity. He created them on the day of twilight, or that would be Laku's day. So Laku is currently, his followers are being hunted down by the enforcers. So a lot of members of Hykro are being hunted down as well, including my character. So you can already, you can just by looking in the book, just what he has in there for the humans, he has so many different options, so many different character ideas you can come up with just by looking at humans. And the cool thing about humans, too, is just like in other games, humans are very adaptable. They get lots of skills, and skills in this game are hugely important. Some of the abilities you can get are just so awesome. So I love humans. They're my favorite race in this, and that's probably unusual, but that's what I love humans.
Very well said. Now, Jenny, why don't you tell people a little bit, and initially sort of start with that too. You actually something else you were initially attracted to, but that didn't quite work for the saga. And not all sagas are going to support all types of characters. So.
Right. I wanted to play a Siren first, which is kind of, they're based more in the water, so it didn't work for this particular game. But they're pretty creepy, and I don't know, there's something about them that really appealed to me. I haven't seen anything quite like them in other games, but I ended up playing Calfar, which I couldn't have been a better choice for me. I like playing really social characters. They have interesting culture, interesting society. I enjoy playing anti-heroes, and Calfars are definitely the society based on slaving, so it's not, they're not always going to be the people you root for first. So it's been pretty fun.
So, why don't you tell them a little bit about why her character has only one full arm? She decided to take, there's a imperfection you take to have basically only one workable arm. Why don't you tell people a little bit about why you chose that?
Um, it was a little different. I saw like a lot of opportunities for getting into character with it, like getting into the headspace of the character, kind of trying to actualize what it would be like to be missing a limb, and it allowed me to kind of cultivate a backstory that was a little darker, that showed some struggle. I don't want to go into the backstory too much because I'm hoping that it'll fully come out in the game eventually. But yeah.
Well, that's good. And to tell the people out there in YouTube land, I am playing Mihungi, who is of the tribe of Ravenousness, and you take the advantage red cap. And in fact, you will learn more about the red caps, more about Laku, who Andrew's character has some involvement with. Laku is a character, the god of my character. We talk a lot about Laku in Fey One. We talk about the red caps to a great degree in Fey One, and that's something that you definitely get involved with, learn about the history of the lore, the setting there about them. So I wanted to take that concept and that idea and bring it into the game. So my character is a follower of Laku. He is a Mihungi red cap, which means he has red hair as opposed to the typical black hair that Mihungis have, through a ritual, which I'm going to let you guys read and learn about for yourselves what that is in Fey 1, and certainly brings across in the character a little different. Mihungi are wolf fairies. Essentially, imagine a fairy as the Bahishi, this ethereal, astral construct of a soul, and then the god of nightmares weaving into them the spirit of the wolf and fear, and them being a personification of fear, of the wolf, of that hunger, of that savagery, of that intimidation, of that apex predator status, and bringing that forward in a game where you bring that, and then you paint backwards, and you put sympathy on them, and you figure out how do we make people relate to it, how do we make people like the character, because that's always very important. You have to be the protagonist in a game. You are not playing antagonists when you're playing darker characters. Wither Ring of Fire is a game about dark characters. The ogres are the common man. We hear that over and over again. People look at them almost like they are the good guys. I'll let you guys read about ogres, and they are not. I mean, they're pretty horrifying. And those are the ones that they are very easy to work in. They work. I mean, it's essentially really, as it came down, really more their game than anyone else's. I mean, first book cover, there's an ogre right there, and he's flamed and he's telling that ancient primordial story, and that's the sort of seeds we draw within the Ring of Fire, not the sort of cliches of modern gaming. It's a throwback to an engaging story, and that's what is put forward in the book in terms to run a game, to play a game in that way. So now that we've talked a little bit about your characters, Andrew, why don't we pop back to you and just sort of tell them, what you might. What might have attracted you? Let's put it this way: might have attracted you to want to play in a game that was within the Ring of Fire. I'll tell people a little about that.
So I guess I can take a little bit of credit for actually being the one who started this game, because I was the one who asked. I went on. If you aren't already on the Facebook YouTube RPG Brigade or on Raw Immersive Games, you need to get on there if you have a Facebook account, or even if you don't, get it. We got lots of great discussion going on up there, and so I actually was asking around in the YouTube RPG Brigade and in the Raw Immersive Games if anyone would be interested in running a game, because when I picked up this book, I really wanted to play it. It has some really great ideas in here about, and really this game, as I've said before, it's built around the idea of being the most immersive experience. The most immersive role-playing experience that he could create, and it succeeds at that. So when I saw this, I was immediately drawn in, and I really wanted to give this game a try. So, Matt was, he was saying, well, I was thinking about starting a group up. You can join right in. So we got that started, and yeah, this book is just so good at coming up with character concepts. So it was very easy to come up with at least 5 in my mind, right, very quickly. So That's what drew me in to want to play within the Ring of Fire.
All right, Jenny, same question over to you.
Yeah, for me, I wanting to get out of my comfort zone and trying something new. Like I said, not really ever spent too much time playing fantasy games, so it was pretty much a totally new experience for me. I actually met you, Ander, before I had read the book, and I think that we shared a lot of similar philosophies on gaming, and just totally diving into the character story being the number one thing. And once I did read the book, there's so much material to build off of. It's a great framework to create kind of endless possibilities of stories, and that's what I look for in a game. It doesn't matter what genre it is.
Absolutely, something very important to have those possibilities for your character to be able to do different things that are going to be really interesting to you and help create stories that are entertaining. They're going to keep people compelled. They're going to bring the flame tender back again and again. They're going to bring the group back again and again. One thing that I've noticed, and I really thanked everyone for putting loads of effort into the characters, that people know the canon of the story. They know how to operate their characters. They know, how to put that over. And the role playing has been absolutely fantastic. I am very picky about those things. And if you don't know that, watch any. Just pull one random video of mine off and take a look. I am can be quite a right prick at times about where my opinions are for role playing, for deep immersive, for keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I've been extremely proud of and pleased with both of them, with George, and of course with the story that Matt is doing as a flame tender. As they comment, his voice is absolutely excellent. His timing, delivery, his pace is good. He can change and move around, and just having we had a prelude, so basically I've played him 3 times now, and it's I can see the guy is extraordinarily talented, which is always a great thrill for me, and all the players do an absolutely wonderful job. And it's a game that you guys are going to want to watch. We get loads of comments. For example, in the AD&D game that's posted on here that you can watch, which might be coming back with Ribashar just taking and beating that ass just the way he always does. 1, 2, 3, but watch this. We'll watch with every fire. This game is every bit just as good, and the chemistry is fantastic between our characters, the mirroring between Andrew's character and mine with the whole Laku deal, the grumpy, hideous little Ferrum bastard that George is playing, all anti-theistic and against all these things, being drug along the magic, the mysticism that's employed, hell itself, angels and dragons and trolls, and such wondrous eldritch tapestry and landscapes is painted. You guys are really going to go see this. I see games up there, quite honestly, with 50,000 views on them. They're pathetic and an embarrassment to our hobby. And you don't want to watch this. You don't want to learn from people that don't know what they're doing. Watch this, see masterful flame tending, and see the masterful role playing of all these people, and you're going to learn something. You're going to come away from it entertained. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to be pulling for your favorites. You're going to be begging me to eat Jenny's character, and you never know. I just might grab a hold of her and just have a bite. You don't know. She's got one arm missing. She could go down with 2. So, and we have those sort of things, like her character, my character. She was called Farah Mihangi. There was a lot of problems there, so we got a lot to work back and forth, a lot of different issues to do. And to me, that's always really interesting, because when you have those problems as a writer, I can tell you want to create problems there. You want to have drama. You want to not just be a get-along gang, and that style is very, very bad. So let me throw that to you, though, Jenny. Just in terms of how your character works in the game, how, I don't want you to go through too much, but just sort of like maybe a cursory impression that the players might be able to get off of how she's looking at the other players, like, oh, God, this, not players, but the other characters, in terms of, oh, I'm about to turtle shank this Mihangi in the back, or this fucking little stumpy Ferrum,
Like, looking on how Kalfars interpret different races, you guys are all basically potential slaves or assets to the character, except maybe the Mihangi, which should be killed, or like, there's no nice way to put it. There's no love lost between our characters. He's useful until he's not, and then we'll see what happens.
And Andrew, so why don't you field that question as well? How your character kind of fits in this, sort of give the players, the people watching at home, a bit more of a perspective, so when they're watching, they kind of understand these things. I think it might be interesting.
Well, one thing you need to understand about within the Ring of Fire is that there is rampant amount of racism going on in this book. And that really, and it's a good thing. I mean, you might think, well, it's not a good thing to have player versus player conflict, but it's important because it gets boring and stagnant if everyone's just agreeing with each other all the time with everything. So my character is a human. Humans are the new kids on the block, and no one trusts these humans because they've been betraying people left and right. They've been throwing the Farum, under the bus, and trampling on them and trampling on anyone who gets in their way. So, as a human would. So, lots of people don't really trust. Either they don't know who they're like, what is this species? Who is this human? So there was lots of suspicion coming up in the first session. I think now, if they don't consider my character a threat, they at least don't. I know Anders' character, his Mihangi always considers me livestock and food to be eaten. Always that option available. The Farum, obviously, he hates my guts. Because of what the humans have done to his people, and I'm sure the Calfar doesn't feel too happy about my character either. But we are starting to. There is a bond that is definitely starting to form between. We've all been thrown together, and we have to survive or die together. So I think there is a certain amount of camaraderie that is now developing between our characters, without giving too much away about what's currently going on.
Yeah, I think that Matt really did an excellent job of bonding the characters together, and that's a great thing to do. And within the Ring of Fire, you want to, as a flame tender, tell the players no. In the game, the way it's designed, once you have all the books out, you'll probably have, by what D&D standards would, if you consider your Aasimars and Typelings, your Fey-blooded, your Giant-born, all that shit in there, you will probably have like about 4,000 different race options you can play. And I'm not being hyperbolic. There will probably literally be that many options that you can make. So that being the case, that's not for every saga. It's not just bring boom, boom, bing, bang everything in. Certain things might not work here and there, depending on what you want to do. It's very pivotal to have an idea. Not we all met in a tavern, and try to play the Tarrasque man-like intelligence, or you're a stone golem. Let's make characters that are real, that have interesting, that have passions, that have desires, that have faith, that have fears, that have angst and anger, and let's get those across. Let's get across what they love, what they fear, what they want to do, and their repetitives and agendas, you understand, baby. So that's really at the core of the game, and one of the nexus points there that connects the players together is the focus of the saga and what makes that make sense. And in our case, there was a very real reason we needed to, not to give the game away, but a very real reason we needed to have some degree of ability to work together. And it comes together masterfully, and you guys definitely want to watch this. This is one of those videos why I wanted to bring the guys on here and have you hear from them as well, that this is something you want to watch. If you are a fan of watching people play role-playing games, this is going to be definitely one of those games you're going to want to see. You're going to want to absorb and experience, and I think that's very important. Particularly, Matt doesn't have an enormous channel subscriptions yet, so go there and subscribe, show love, support, watch the videos, hit the like button, leave comments, and interact. And we do write you back. And Raw Immersive Games on Facebook. Go there, join, as Andrew said, and you can interact. You can learn about. We can learn about within the Ring of Fire. You could find games people running on Google Plus, Skype, whatever, within the Ring of Fire, and become more and more involved with this game, with this hobby, with this aspect and element. So why don't I flip it on to each of you guys? We'll start with you, Jenny, since I flipped back and forth here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about George's character? So George isn't here to say things himself. Go ahead. Feel free. Put the boots to George. Treat him
No. I don't want to speak for George.
For him, just talk about his character. Just what you think about his playing, his character, all that sort of stuff.
Well, he's playing a Farum, which are kind of like underground dwelling. The character didn't come from a subterranean city, but in general the species is. He's definitely anti-theistic. I think George is a really, really amazing character. There's a lot of times where I just find myself completely believing that he is his character, and it's refreshing to play with someone that gets that into character.
All right, Andrew, why don't you field the question here and speak a little bit about, since he's not here, to give the people just a little bit of feel about him and what he's doing, his contributions and so forth.
Well, he is playing an ugly, stinky, disgusting Ferrum that is most foul and ill-tempered almost constantly. And from what I've gleaned, he and our characters have a bit of a connection because my character was trying to basically, I made the very poor decision of saving this ugly, disgusting creature's life, and instead of murdering him right in the street, I decided to have mercy on him, and so in return, I get thrown in this prison for his sake. And what has he done to return the favor? Nothing. No, he still hates my guts. He still hates everyone. That's what I get, for saving people. So won't make that mistake again. But no, he's a, to be serious though, he does such a good job of portraying his character. While the rest of us are, kind of these pieces on this big, on this board that's, that we're all pawns in this game of the gods and the divinities. He's kind of, he's being pulled along with the rest of us, but in reality, like, he still hates them. He's still saying a big, screw you gods. Which is great. He really holds on to his, one of his abilities, hold on to your hate. That, I think, is a good way to describe his character. But it is interesting because the three, if you watch us now, the three of our the other three characters are these pawns in the game of the divinities. But George is just, his character is just, he's still holding on to his hate and still giving a big, screw you to the gods. So it's great. He does a great job at it.
I think in a lot of ways his character is the most likable he's the most curmudgeon-y, but I think he's probably the most likable out of all of them. His motivations maybe seem to be a little more on the surface.
He's very direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a good point to be made there. I don't know if High Crow here is going to be a Bryce High Crow, the most likable. You're clearly a horrendous villain there, Jenny. So CERN is not likable at all. He's horrible. That was actually very sweet. Jenny is a great character. Very call far. And for those of you, once you kind of look at the Monsters and Men books, you see a species in there called ducats, which is pretty much exactly what Jenny is in real life. It's a yield rabbit girl. And I think that, to sort of address the question about myself, I think that George does an absolutely fantastic job, and I think he's definitely a great ambassador, as are both Jenny and Andrew of Within the Ring of Fire, of deep immersive role-playing games, of role-playing in general. And it's always greatly my pleasure to play with all these people, as all people I'll certainly be very happy to play with again, and very pleased to have in this game. So, for me, it's been a real blast to have a game. And the game has a lot of great pacing to it. There's a lot of boom, boom, boom. And we're getting in there. There's different embers, and they have different agendas, different personalities, different ideas. And some of them are kind of like, like the Freyine, which you guys, I'm not going to say any more than that, but if you guys watch the videos, you'll see that Freyine and be like, ooh, that's the guy. So, like, for me, I'm like, oh, that's scary, but damn, does he smell good? I want to eat him so badly. Meon-gi are, apex level anthrophages. They want to eat you. However, that being said, Ferrum have a great ability in the game that I've never seen anyone put in a role-playing game before. No one wants to eat them at all because they're so unbelievably disgusting. They're children of iron. Their blood is tainted. Their flesh is foul. Nothing wants to eat them, and that is a tremendous advantage for you in lots of encounters. Animals aren't going to attack you unless they have an extreme reason to. They're not going to attack you for food, that's for sure. You don't register as food. To me, my character wouldn't eat his character. So other than the fact that he is, as Jenny pointed out, a curmudgeon, he is a mudge, and a fair amount are mudges, so that's definitely to be accepted and expected. But his character isn't what I want to eat, so it gives me a different play point, a different motivation. I don't want to eat him. Her character is part Mihungi. She's from a line of Mihungi. Mihungi are anthrophages. They are not cannibals. They do not eat their own flesh. He wouldn't eat her, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't threaten to eat her, because he would. So it comes down to Bryce Hicro. I'm sorry, buddy, but we're spelunking. We're going down to the dungeon, and I see your fate ending one way in the belly of my goo. Yay, you understand? So you got to stay tuned and watch me eat Andrew's character in front of him and describing in utter horrific detail with hyper-violence and absurd levels of gore as she sits there and cries in character and out of character as his work is for naught, as his character is debased, demoralized, and eventually excreted. So that's...
Yeah, you try and you'll get my character's axe through your head. I'll do it too. I'll enjoy it.
I bet you will. And so that it gives you really interesting play points there when you have that sort of idea. And remember the remembrance that for anthrophagia, you're not a cannibal. That's not your same species. You just will devour something that's sapient. You're like, yeah, that's good food, particularly when it screams and its heart beats and the terror courses through it. Oh, that blood is good. But remember, there's nothing really that tastes better outside of unicorn and fraying. Damn, fraying tastes good. And so that really kind of colors you when you're playing there. That sort of aspect for Mihungi. I mean, they're very, very dark, yet they have a lot of redeeming qualities. And it's not a video on Mihungi, so I'm not going to get too much into that at the moment. But at this point, let me kick it back over to Andrew. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the game, about Within Ring of Fire in general, anything all you'd like to share with the people at home watching before we wrap the video up? And we thank all our viewers out there for watching, those now and those in the future.
Well, this game, as I've said before, has restored my faith in fantasy role-playing games. This game is absolutely excellent. I have played many other fantasy games out there, but this is by far the best. Definitely need to pick this up. Play with your friends. Spread the word. This game needs to continue to burn. It's the passion of this game needs to burn brightly across the RPG community. It's an excellent game. Highly recommend it. Pick it up, yeah. And if you have no one you can play with, join a game on, ask for people on Facebook. Maybe I'll join in. Maybe so. You'll be surprised who will show up because Andrew. I did not expect Andrew to be in this game, and I was very pleasantly surprised when he was. So you never know. Just give it a try, and you might. I guarantee you're gonna have a great time. Even beginning players, this is a perfect book for them. Beginning players, beginning game masters. It has great advice in here to help you get started. So yeah, definitely pick it up and take a look.
All right, Jenny, same over to you. And wrapping up, any closing, any thoughts on the game we're playing, or Within Ring of Fire in general, anything you'd like to share with the people out in YouTube land?
I think that I'd probably echo some of what Andrew said. And for me, especially if you look at Within the Ring of Fire and you think, oh, maybe that's not for me. I had a little bit of those feelings when I first heard the concept. When I started reading the book, I thought, oh, this is different. This is interesting. And the section on role-playing was definitely on par with how I think of gaming. And then once I actually got to play, yeah, I'm hooked. I definitely would not turn my nose up to any fantasy game from now on. And Andrew's point about it being a really good game for beginner players, I think, is totally accurate. I want to see people who start role-play for story, for deep immersion, and everything you need to understand what tabletop gaming is in the book. So yeah, it's a good book in general, and I think it's a really good book if you're new to the hobby.
Okay, well, thank you very much, both of you, for joining me here today, and all you out there in the Barbarian Horde. Embrace Within the Ring of Fire. Jump on Raw Immersive Games. You interact with Jenny, you interact with Andrew, with myself, with George, with Matt, and with so many other people that are on there that are loving the burning sensation of the flames of immersive creativity. And be looking for monsters and men. Be ready to get your Satyr on, to get your Ectomi on, to get your Chthon on, to get your Nargali on, to get your Typhon on, to get on with nymphs and vampires and werewolves, and so many, many, many other possibilities of endless imagination that lurk inside that crate for your mind. I am your main man, Underwood. Andrew and Jenny, thank you for being here, and thank you all for watching.